curious to kind of get some perspectives on from everyone is that this internal leverage, Carl, that your team has set up systems and processes for ends up being in the roughly 20 to 30% leverage range, which I thought was actually very interesting in relation to a related topic being Sharia compliance in the investment management space. So a number of my friends and colleagues have mentioned, interestingly, as a kind of independent conclusion that a lot of Sharia finance, or rather Sharia compliant investing, tends to restrict to make sure that the portfolio is roughly 70 to 80% compliant with Sharia, which, for example, if you use a system such as leverage, if it's 20 to 30% leverage, that would mean that 70 to 80% would not be leveraged. So thinking through this, I guess from a global perspective of emerging asset classes, emerging funds, and emerging trends in the space, Catalin, also curious if you have seen, given your involvement in the Middle East, in Southeast Asia, any trends in which there are differences between practices across countries?
Sorry,
as
I
well
just
as
want to say, our leverage, when you say 30%, it was not, we did it not because of the Sharia law, it was basic math. It was math and security.
Right.
We are not like.
Right. My point was
we are regulated by the Cayman Island monetarization.
Right. What my point there
So,
was that what I thought was interesting there is that I see experts with different backgrounds, different regulators, different goals, different traditions, arriving at the same conclusion from two different methods. That we have Carl and Chain BLX, Cayman-based, thinking about this from Cayman regulation and from a mathematical analysis, and then other colleagues in the space arriving at very similar conclusions through a completely different path. And that to my point, though, signals a larger trend that if you have people in different countries, different backgrounds coming to the same conclusion in current markets, this must speak to broader trends. So to me, the question is more, what are some similarities and differences on a more local and regional level?
Oh, I'm happy to sum it up because we see the word.
You travel all over, yes.
I think Europe has become a little bit over-regulated and also a bit rigid and tough, whereas Middle East is more relational and okay, there is a regulation, but still everything can be done somehow, Southeast Asia, very hungry, very big velocity, and anything is possible. And of course, we work in Singapore, we have there an office, so it's also quite regulated and hierarchic. But what I like is this spirit of thinking out of solutions. Europe is thinking for me, very often out of restrictions, like especially if you go to Germany, also, like what is not possible and why, and that's it, close line. Whereas you go to Southeast Asia, it's always a top up, always something possible. Middle East is the same, but you have to have people on the ground. I'm very excited about the markets because, of course, what I see in private markets, the beating heart is really Southeast Asia now, especially Hong Kong, very strong, Singapore, Australia with family offices. US and UK has two big problems, is the red tape. And of course with Brexit we saw also even more bureaucracy and very tough in deal making UK, so we also try to diversify, but for us in private markets currently the most promising is Southeast Asia. Why? Because you have of course Hong Kong, even if back to China, still they manage a lot of money from Japan, Korea, developed countries, from private families, and that money is moving very fast, faster than in Europe from institutionals,